Welcome to Swiflearn YouTube live classes. I'm happy to have you again back to this platform named Swiflearn. Yes, today's class is about, which is the topic? Yeah, it was showing in the screen, right? Lines and angles. Yes. So before going directly to the topic and understanding what is the topic all about, the grade 9 students are waiting eagerly to learn the topic. I know that. I'm there to teach you, right? But before that, let us understand what is a Swiflearn. What is the company named Swiflearn? What do we do? See, it's an online platform where we teach students live. So it's live interactive sessions. I am there here to teach you students which are coming and enrolling with us with the Swiflearn company, and we are teaching them one-to-one live session. So it's not like they are a big group, 30 students like in a school. They all are sitting together and studying, right? But in this, we specialize in having a quality delivery of the concept. Okay, so what does that mean? That maximum to maximum we'll have 6 students in a class, so the teacher is able to concentrate and look at the problems of each and every student. So in that case, we are very much sure that the students in the 6 students in one class, they are prepared and they know the topic very carefully, right? We take the minor details also in consideration. So all the steps, all the way of writing and the formation of the answers is also considered and has been looked upon. So see, it's very easy for the teacher to look at 6 students rather than compared to 30 students. In a school, when there are 30 students sitting in a class, or maybe right now it's an online platform, right? So teacher is not able to concentrate on each and every student. It's not practically possible. It's not her fault, but it's not practically possible. So she is there to deliver the concept. She'll ask few doubts and she'll leave the class because she has the next class lined, right? But in this, when there are only 6 students, we can concentrate comparatively more. And then we have a detailed progress report. So whenever you log in, your position has been recorded in our system. So we know where do you stand. And we make sure that this graph is always increasing. You never drop. So each and everything is considered. Your classwork, your homework, the practice assignments. Yes, we give unlimited practice assignments. So there is no limit. We'll keep on giving you practice assignments so that you practice. See, practice makes a man perfect. We all have heard that since we were childhood, right? And this practice has only landed up where we stand today. And the more the practice we do, the more achievements it's possible on our end, right? So that's why we said that Swiflearn company is one of the most sincere platform of Indian destination. Yes, we take the education very seriously, and we think that the student who has enrolled with us should always improve in his studies. That is our main feature. So if you think that we are going good and you think that this YouTube session will help you for future classes and all the online platforms which we are teaching, there are science, there are maths, there are English, there are so many teachers on this platform coming there live to teach you. So why not subscribe to this channel and press on the bell icon so that whenever there is an update, you get it notified and you make yourself free at that time and you can attend that session free of cost. Yes. So let's start today's topic, lines and angles. It's part 1. So what is lines? What is angles? So today we'll study each and everything. The objective of today's class is recalling axioms. What do we call this? Axioms. And what line? What is a parallel line? What is a line segment? What is a ray? What are collinear and non-collinear points? What is an angle and its types? The arms of an angle and vertices of an angle, the interior and an exterior angle. So everything that is related with lines and angles, the basic that you have already studied, but it would be a revision. Okay, so we'll do this today all together. So let's start. Okay, so a very weird question which I'll ask you first. Can you tell me what is a point? So if someone asks you what is a point, you'll say it's a dot, right? A dot, representation, right? But what does this point help us to do? See, if I give you an example right now, I'll tell you, make a point on the screen. Where will you make it? You can make this point here. You can make this point here. Or you can make a point somewhere here also. So where do exactly I want you to make that point, or where do I exactly want, what type of figure do I want? So this point help us to do that. Getting the point, right? So what this point is, it is tells me where do we stand. It tells us what exactly location do we want. So that is what points refer to, the exact position or location, the exact where I want. So it's not a like a weird answer, right? It's not like make a point. Where do I make a point? So point exactly tells me exact what position. Like you point, right? We always say never point to someone because it tells us about whom you're talking. Basics, right? Similarly, this point tells us the exact position in mathematics that we are talking about. Okay. Now, what happens when we join 2 points? Now, suppose there are 2 points. One is here, one is here. What happens if we join these 2 points? So we'll make a, on joining 2 points, we get a line. Pretty easy, right? What do? These are the 2 points. We'll make a line in this. We'll join these 2 points. So that is the logic behind a line. So minimum 2 points are important to draw a line. If from one point, can you draw a line? No. In which direction will you go? So if I make a point, see, if I make this red one, can you see this? So in this way, if I tell you to make a point, where will you go? Do you have any idea? No, right? So this point will stay here only. So it can go in any direction. But whereas to make a specific line, a specific distance, then we need 2 points. Clear? Okay, so before discussing line, now discussing what is a line, let us understand what is all about axioms in geometry. What do we call this? So what is axioms? What is it? See, this is a mathematical truth. So it is a truth which are accepted without proofs. So what happens is there's something mathematically available that we take it for granted. I would say in some other words, that is, it is not any proof, but it is acceptable. So these statements are about real numbers. See, the geometrical figures, they are about real numbers. They are something real. So how they are real? Often what we say about real numbers hold true for geometrical figures. So whatever we talk about real numbers, it is same with the geometrical figures, since the real numbers are the important part of geometry. When it comes to measuring figures, it is very important. So if I tell you, measure the length, measure the breadth of a figure. So how will you know this? You will give me a real number because that has to be a real number, right? So all the logics that is happening in the real numbers, it's applicable as well as in the geometrical things also. So that is why this is very important. Okay. Moving on to basic terms to know what are the basic things that we should know before understanding what is exactly geometry is. First most thing is line. A straight path extending in both the directions with no endpoint. So what is happening is it's a straight path that keeps on going in both the direction. It never ends. There is no endpoint. So that's why we call it a line. Any example of a line? Any example? Yes, students, give me an example that you can say that it's a line. Yeah. What can you say it's a line? Okay. So I'll show you. See, line is a straight set of points that are extended in opposite directions, so both the way. So lines are everywhere. The cable lines. Do you know where did it start actually? When you're standing here, do you know where it starts, where it ends? No, right? It's keep on going to the extent it's possible. So that is an example of a line that keeps on extending in the opposite direction. So if I tell you from this point, you have to draw a line which passes to it. So it will move exactly in both the ways, right? It will keep on going. There is no end point to it. So now moving on to the line segment. So it's pretty easy. So line keeps on going, but we need something which has to be ended, right? So that you can calculate. So what do we call a line segment? A part of a line that includes 2 points as an end point. So this is an end point. In this case, you see this and this is an end point of this line. So this is the end point and all the points are between them. So there are multiple of points that are joined together to form this line segment. What do we call this line segment? It is a part of a line. See, a line keeps on going in different direction unlimitedly. It never stops. Whereas when we decide that these are the two endpoints, this is one endpoint and this is one endpoint. So these two are the endpoints. So the part of the line that includes these 2 points, so we call it as a endpoint, and including these 2 endpoints, we call it a line segment. Okay, I ask you one question. How many lines can we draw between 2 points? Okay, I'll repeat myself. See, this is 1 point. I'll draw this one point here. Can you see this point? Yeah. And this is 1 point. So how many lines can I draw? How many straight lines can I draw from these 2 points? Only one, right? There will be only one straight line which is possible to move from this point to this point. If I want to go it in other way, I cannot reach to this point, can I? So in any way, if I want to, I have only left with one line. Getting the point? In any way, I'm not able to connect to that point except this one. So just remember this point as well, that there is only one line segment possible if the 2 endpoints are given, because their location is precise, right? They cannot move. We cannot move that, right? So that is why we call it a line segment. Good. So moving on to ray. What is a ray? Very easy. What do we say? Sun rays are coming. They are so hard. They are so heavy. Like they are so warm, right? It's hitting my eyes. Sometimes we say like that also. So what is a ray? Ray is a line that has only one endpoint. So from where does the sun ray start? From the sun. And where does it go? There is no endpoint. It keeps on going to the floor. The floor gets hotter and that warmness can go to the rocks, right? So there is no endpoint. So it's just one endpoint, that is one sun, the sole sun. So that's why we call it a ray. A part of the line which has one endpoint that continues with one direction without any endpoint. So in one direction, it keeps on going and going. There is no endpoint. So when there are 2 endpoints, we call it a line segment. When there is no endpoint, we call it a line. But when there is one endpoint and that keeps on going, we call it a ray, right? Good. So what would we say an example of a ray? Sun rays, right? Pretty easy with the name. Yeah. So these are the lines in a plane which are do not meet. So coming on to the new topic, that we call it a parallel lines. What is a parallel line? See, these are the 2 lines. If I keep on going in the same direction, will they ever meet? Yeah. Okay, if I say I am going in this way, okay, I am walking on this line of the train track and my friend is walking at this line. Do you ever think that we have to just move on this path, okay? And when we are going, both of them are going the same path. Is there anywhere that we can both come together and shake hands? Standing just next to each other and shaking hands, not from so apart, okay? Standing to each other and shaking hands, or maybe hugging each other. Is it possible? No. So the lines that keep on going, the 2 straight lines in a plane that keeps on going and they never meet, they never interact at any of the point, we call it a parallel lines, okay? So that is happening is these 2 lines in a plane which do not meet. In other words, the 2 straight lines in a plane which do not intersect, which do not cut, which do not meet each other at any point, we call it as parallel lines. Okay. Now, what is a perpendicular line? Perpendicular, what does this mean? A line is said to be perpendicular to another line if the 2 lines intersect each other at a right angle. So now what comes in the new thing? Angle. What is an angle? So before that, we should know what is an angle, right? Do you all know what is an angle? Yes. The angle is what is formed when these 2 lines meet. So whenever 2 lines meet, there is some middle part, right? We'll understand this in detail. But right now, when I say these 2 lines are perpendicular to each other, why? Because when these 2 lines meet or intersect each other, they form this angle, which is a 90-degree angle, a right angle. Right angle is always 90 degree, right? Good. So same goes with this one. Where is a right 90-degree angle formed? Can you guess? Yeah. See, this is a cross, but can you see here? It is forming a 90-degree angle. Can you see this? This area, if I talk about, this is 90 degree. This is intersecting each other and forming a 90 degree. This one is also forming a 90 degree and same. So for 90 degree, we make a small square type figure, like it's just two sides we make of a square. That shows us and clarify that this is a 90 degree angle. Okay. So when do we call two lines are perpendicular? When two lines meet at each other and make a 90 degree angle, then we call them they are perpendicular to each other. Okay, now coming to intersecting lines. What happens to intersecting lines? They keep on intersecting, meeting each other at a point, right? Just like this intersecting lines. What is happening? This and this, they are meeting. Here we can say they are making a 90 degree angle, so it may be perpendicular. But in the case when they are meeting and they are not making a 90 degree angle, then what do we call it? We call it intersecting lines. Pretty easy. The perpendicular lines and the intersecting lines are just the same, the two lines that meet. But what makes them apart is that when they meet and make an angle of 90 degree, we call them perpendicular lines. But when they meet and do not make a 90 degree angle, they can make any weird angle, then we call it they are intersecting lines. These are two lines that share at exactly one point. So they are meeting at a point. This share point is called the point of intersection. So this point at which these two lines are meeting, this is called the point of intersection. And see in this example, will you see there is no 90 degree form. So we are here at a point of intersection. When two lines meet, we form four angles. This is one angle. Okay, let's draw the angle and see. This is one angle. This is one angle. Two angle. This is three angle. And this one is four angles. So at one point of intersection, there have been formed four angles. And none of these angles are 90 degree. Right? That's why we call it intersecting lines. Good. All right, students. Hope you're understanding. Giving a thumbs up. Let's do some practical way. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So this is an example of a parallel lines. Let's see. What is an example of a parallel line? See, these two lines, the black one, are parallel to each other. Let's see. Okay. Let me move this line and see. What is happening? Are they meeting? See, if I try to drag and get them together, they will just collide over each other. This is what is happening. Can you see this? They are colliding. So they are just one line. But if I'm moving, they will never meet. Can you see that? They both are getting apart with the same distance. So whatever the distance in these two from the endpoints, that will remain the same. So if I'm reducing, they both are coming together and forming to 0. Otherwise, they both are parallel. Can you see this? And this is a line that is intersecting. We call this a transversal. So two parallel lines, and there is a line that passes through both the parallel lines. We call it a transversal. We'll study that later. Don't worry. But right now, can you see these two lines are parallel to each other? Let's see the angles. See what is happening. These two lines are 47 degree, 47 degree. So what is happening is this is a parallel lines and these are the transversal. So what is the angle happening here will happen at this point also. Okay. Same angles with this one. Whereas these are the outer angles and these four angles are the same. So in any way, if I try to move, see the angles are just the same whenever I'm doing that. Can you see the difference? So that's why we call it a parallel lines. Okay. Moving on to the next one. Let's see what does it come. Okay. So now you have to tell me, what is this? This is what does this show? This shows 90 degree, right? So when two lines meet and form 90 degree, what do we call that? Perpendicular lines. Perfect. Good. So let's see. Drag this. See, if I'm dragging anyway, these lines are always perpendicular. Can you see that square? That is always 90 degree. I'll try to move this up and down. This remains the same. Same. Let's try from this point. See, It is perpendicular. So what am I doing? I'm trying to show you in every direction. What is happening is in all the direction, it is coming 90 degrees. So these two lines are intersected and they only form 90-degree angle. That's why we call it perpendicular lines. Moving on to the third type. Now what is it? Transversals. I told you those were the parallel lines. Now this is a transversal. So see, now we're coming to the practical version of that. What is happening is, see, these two lines are parallel to each other and this is a transversal. Can you see this? Yeah. So if I try to move, this will be same parallel lines, right? And this is a transversal that is cutting these two parallel lines. Now what is happening is these are the two angles that are formed. So what do we call these angles? We call them corresponding angles. So what are this? See, this is an angle and this is an angle. So what are these two angles? We call these angles as corresponding angles. Okay. So let me make a point. Let's this be angle E and let's say C. So let's make this point A, D, E. So let's do this. Now that would be easy to explain. See, what is happening is this angle BAC is equals to angle ADE and they are corresponding angles. So in this case, these two angles are equal. Now let's see what happens to alternative interior angles. So what are interior angles? The angles which lie inside the parallel lines. We call it interior angles. So can you see this angle and this angle? So angle CAD and AD, let's name this F. Okay, this is F. So ADF. So these two angles are alternative interior angles. So when two parallel lines, there is a transversal, then two interior angles, alternative interior angles are equal. Now these are interior because they lie inside the lines, right? Now to talk about exterior, what will happen? They lie outside the lines, right? So that shows they're all sides, show alternative external angles, exterior angles. So that we call it, they are also equal. So this angle would be equal to this angle. Now, let's see, show same side interior angles. So what happens in the same side? These are just on the left hand side. Will this be same? No. The alternatives are same. The right on the top, left at the bottom, or the left on the top, right at the bottom in the interior lines are same. Whereas on the same side, they are not same. Same goes with the exterior ones. What happens in the exterior and the same side? They are not same. Whereas on the alternate sides, they are same. Clear with this activity? Sure? Okay. Now let's move ahead and see more about lines and angles. So which type of are these lines? So now this is your turn to tell me. Which type is these lines? The first one. Yeah, quickly give me the answer. This one, parallel lines or perpendicular lines or intersecting lines. This is an example of which lines? Quickly. I'm waiting for your answers. Yes? It is a parallel lines. Very good. How about this one? It is an example of which lines? Parallel lines, intersecting lines, perpendicular lines. Let's see. Who can guess this? Yes, this is an perpendicular line. See, this is being perpendicular to this straight line. So this is forming here is a 90-degree angle. So that's why it's a perpendicular line. Okay, how about this window? What happens in the window? Yeah, there are so many lines, right? Okay, so let's see which line are we talking about. This line and this line are parallel to each other. Let's draw some parallel lines first, okay? So this line and this line is parallel. Very good. Now moving to perpendicular lines. Which are perpendicular ones in this shape? This one and this one. So these two lines are intersecting and forming a 90-degree angle. So that's why we call it a perpendicular line. Good. Clear with this one? Yeah. Okay, great. I think now you have understood what are the difference between the lines and what do we call them. So can you tell what happens when the two lines are joined? So what happens when the two lines are joined? When the two, on joining two lines, we form an angle. It forms an angle. Pretty easy. So what happens when we join two lines? They form an angle. For instance, a boy wants to make a model of a hut. So if I want to make a hut, what will happen? I will need the bamboo sticks to make it or an ice cream sticks to make it. So how will I make it? How many type of things do I need? I'll need two parallel lines at the base. Here, two perpendicular lines, which are two lines, parallel ones, and two lines which intersect each other as making it a square. Then what do I need at the top? I need a triangle. So I need this intersecting lines. They will form an angle in between. Getting the point? I'll explain it again. See what I was talking about. I will need this square. I'll need these two parallel lines and this two lines which intersect these two at 90-degree perpendicular lines. Then I'll need like a, what will I need at the top? I need a triangle. So from this, I'll draw this. I need this thing. Right. So I need something like this figure. Right. So in this thing, I need so many of lines. But what happens if I extend these two lines? What is happening? They are meeting at this point. This is a point of intersection that we have studied before. And they make an angle. Can you see what have been formed here? They have made this an angle here. So we'll talk about this. So when two lines are joined, they form an angle. Same here. When these two lines are joined, they form an angle. That is 90-degree. Right? That's why we call it perpendicular lines. Right? Great. So we should keep some of the sticks parallel to each other and some sticks that are slanting. So some of them would be slanting, some of them would be parallel, some of them will meet and make an intersecting. So these two are intersecting at a perpendicular, but they are parallel to each other as well. Right? Good. Similarly, when an architect person has to draw a model of multi-storied building, so what does he do? He makes a drawing, he makes a figure. In that, we are using so many lines, intersecting line, parallel lines. See your room, in which you are sitting. There are two parallel lines at this side. Two parallel lines, one at the back, one at the front, like the four walls. The four walls making a square. So there are four lines. Two among them are parallel to each other. They will never meet. Will they ever meet? No, right? Even though you extend it to the maximum possible, they will never meet. So without the knowledge of the properties of the lines and angles, do you think we can draw and lay out a building? So the building is not possible to make. So see, these lines and angles are practically used. The importance is that we should know the future is based on this. So even if the simple building that we think is made without mathematics, it's not possible. Okay, so let's come back to the topic. What is an angle? The word angle has been derived from a Latin word. So it is a Latin word that names at angulus, that from which the word angle has come, which means a little bend. So when two lines are meeting, how are they meeting? Because they are being bended toward each other, then they form an angle, and that we get to know at which angle they are bending and meeting. So at which angle they bended and meted each other. So the concept of angles was first developed by a mathematician named Didymus, who defined an angle as a derivation of a straight line. So what is a straight line? A straight line is just a line. So we realize that this is a straight line. But when this straight line starts moving, what happens? Okay, I'll show you. Now, if this straight line starts moving, so what is happening? It's changing its angle. Can you see at this point the angle is somewhere here? Now when I move this from the ground, the angles keep on changing. So he, the mathematician, realized that the angles are derived from the straight line. So a straight line, when moved in some other way, circular way or a clockwise or anti-clockwise, we get to know its angles. Okay. All right. So angle is formed when the two rays originate from the same endpoint. So angle is only formed when the two rays, there are two rays that starts from one endpoint. So can you see the scissors moving these two? They form an angle. Same at the back. These two rays form an angle, right? Here, if I say this is a point in which they are moving. So this is a point, a ray is going this way and a ray is going this way. So what are they forming in between? They are forming an angle. Let's see in this one. Same way. So they are going in some way like this. In here that I have discussed, they are going like this. So they can be this way, right? Forming an angle. Here what is happening? This is forming an angle. Now let's see here. What is happening here? Can you find the similar way of doing it is here. So this is forming an angle. So today we will see that the angles are all around us. So all the furnitures, all the scissors, all the things that have been made, they are a form of an angle. Even the straight pen, the pen which we are using, it is a form of an angle. Let's see how. Okay. So first of all, let's see the part of angles. What are the parts called and why do we use? So first is arms. When the two rays are joined to form an angle, it's called the arm of an angle. So see here, OB and OA, they are the two arms. See, this is one arm, this is one arm. Then we are joining it at the one end point, then it becomes an angle. So this is what in the angle in between these two hands. So that's why we call it arm. Okay. And the point at which they are meeting, like here, they are meeting at this point. Same, they are meeting at O. So the O, the point at which they are meeting, we call it a vertex. The common end point at which the two rays are meeting and forming an angle, we call it a vertex. The point O. Angle AOB. So here the O is the vertex. Am I clear with this one? Yeah, pretty easy, right? These are the arms, the two hands, they are the arms. The point at which they are being touching each other, we call it a vertex. And the area, the between, it can be this one, it can be this, it can be this. So this is all, it depends on the angle, the degree which we are talking about. How big am I opening? How small am I opening? Okay. Yes. So now moving on to the types of angles. So there are various types of angles. Oh, acute, right, obtuse, straight, reflex, complete. So many. Don't get confused. It's pretty easy. Just relax. They have given so many names, but they are very easy in concept. You won't get a problem after this class. Okay. Let's see. What do we call it? Acute. Okay. Let's start with acute. What is cute? A baby which is small, we call it, he's a cute baby, right? Cute. So this cute word has come. Just imagine this cute. So acute always refers to something which is small. When it will be small, this much is small, this much is small, this much is small. Is it small? No, this much is small, right? So whichever thing which is small and that measures between 0 degree and 90 degree. So something that comes between 0 and 90, we call it acute angle. So in this, how will you say that a pizza is acute angle? See, what is happening is here in this pizza, these are the two rays that are being formed, right? They are meeting at this point. Let's call this point as O, vertex O. They are meeting at this. And what are they forming? They are forming this angle. So this angle is quite small. Can you see this angle is small? So when it's small, small children, we call it cute. So we call it acute angle. Okay. All right. Moving on to the next one. Right angles. So when I say, yes, you're right. Straight, stand straight. So what do you do? You start straight, right? So similarly, when we say it a right angle, this is one line which is sleeping horizontally. And this is one line which is straight, standing precisely straight like a soldier, right? So what is happening? It's standing straight and forming a L letter. Can you see the L? So when this L letter is formed, we call it 90 degrees. Same goes with the window panes, the doors, the walls. They meet each other and form a 90 degree angle. So whenever they form a 90-degree angle, we call it a right angle. Just remember the letter alphabet English L. So when you see the straight L, we call it a right angle. Clear with this one? Okay, so before L, if something is like this, we call it cute. The moment it gets straight, right. That is the right place. So we call it right angle. Okay? All right, moving on to obtuse. So cute, which is not cute. When you grow up, you become mature. You become a little grown up, right? You feel you're matured. So like obtuse, it is a one angle which is a little matured. Okay, he thinks that now I'm older. I'm responsible for myself. Something related to ourselves, right? So it is an angle whose measure is greater than 90 degree, but it is less than 180 degree. What does 180 degree means? See, 180 is the straight line. So which is greater than this. It is going greater than this. All right, this way. But which is not meeting and forming a straight line. So that's why we call it is greater than 90 degree. It is greater than L, something like this. But it's not straight, right? It is not straight, but it is greater than L. So that's why we call it obtuse angle. So it's greater than 90 degree, but less than 180 degree. So we call it obtuse angle. Clear with this one? Yeah. Moving on to the straight line. So if I tell you a straight line, draw a straight line, you'll draw it like this, or horizontal sleeping line, or maybe a vertical line. You'll draw a straight line, right? In that case, when we call it a straight line, we call it a straight angle because it is equal to 180 degree. So the straight line is equals to 180 degree, like this one. It's a staircase. It's a straight, it's a flat one. So what angle is it forming? It's forming just this angle. This angle is 180 degree. Clear with this one? Okay. Reflex angle. What do we call it? Reflex angle? Now easy. Now you can guess. More than 180 degree because we have already covered 180, right? So it has to be more than 180 degree. You are right in that case. It has to be greater than 180 degree, but less than 360 degree. Coming this back and not meeting this line. So it can be greater than 180 degree, has to be greater the straight line, but not meeting this base, the first line. So we call it reflex angle. Okay. So reflex angles are the angles which are more than 180 degree, but are less than 360 degree. What is 360 degree angle? It comes, okay, I'll start from here and I have to make a 360 degree angle. I'll go take a whole circle and come back, right? So what I've taken, I'm taking a complete round. A one complete round. So that's why we call it a complete angle. The angle who measures 360 degree. A complete angle is known as a complete angle which has 360 degree, a complete circle. It forms like a circle, just like this circular wheel. So we start from this point, we'll go on the top and then come back to this point. So we're making a complete circle and that is 360 degree. Clear? Yeah, good. So let's visualize this. So whatever we have done in angles, now you have to tell me, okay, how does it go about it? Let's see this one. Let's start with the basic. Okay, this is a straight line. Okay, this is 0 degree right now. Can you see this? 0 degree. Let's start. 0, the starting is cute. Little cute baby, right? It keeps on going cute till it is, where do I stop? 90. See what happened? It became an L. Stop. It is a right angle now. Now let's move ahead. After right angle, after 90 degree, what happens? You become obtuse. You become mature, right? So it's obtuse. Keep on going obtuse till the time it forms a straight line. When I have straight line, it's 180 degree. Stop, straight, 180. Now let's move again. Moving more, it becomes reflex. Keep on going, reflex. So this is keep on reflex till the time it doesn't meet this. The moment it meets the line, it becomes 360 degree. What do we call it? We call it a complete angle. Clear with this one? Let's go the other way around. Reflex. Stop, straight. Okay, now obtuse. Then stop, straight 90 degree, right? Now let's start. Right angled, 90 degree. Now, cute, 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 cute. Clear with this one? Yeah, great. So there are small rhymes of angles which is interesting and to know them. So acute angle is a little so small. The right angle is a corner of a wall. The obtuse angle is at 250 in the daytime, so it is a little bigger one. A straight angle is like a straw in a soda line, and so many angles around, even in a mine. So there are so many angles around each other, so that never stops. Okay, so I think now with the names you are clear with all types of angles. Now moving on to the angles that we already discussed in one of the slides, which was not quite clear. What are interior, what are exterior, which I introduced you like a minor things. Now let's do that in detail and understand that. Interior angles, the lines, two lines are parallel. What do we call interior? Inside, right? If I tell you, go inside the room, so what will happen? There is a room with 4 walls. You'll go inside that, right? Similarly, interior angles are the angles that are formed within or inside the particular shape. In these two parallel lines, if I tell you something inside these two lines, you'll go here or you go here. So that's why these are the angles which are formed inside the parallel lines. We call it interior angles, or it may be inside a circle or inside a square, right? So the angles that are formed, that we call it a interior angle. So what does exterior means? Just opposite, right? Interior, exterior. Outside the room. Exterior, please go outside. See what's the weather outside. The exterior weather is very nice. So that is what we are using. So the angles that are formed outside of a shape. So see in this triangle, if I extend this one, so what is happening? These are the interior angles. Let's form first interior angles. This is the interior angle. This is the interior angle. This is the interior angle, right? This is inside this particular shape. But what happens if I make it outside? So something which is outside the shape when the line is extended. So we call it an exterior angles. Clear with this one? Interior, inside. Exterior, outside. So outside the shape which we are talking, it's exterior angle. Inside the shape we are talking, it's an interior angle. Clear with this one? Okay. So I hope I'm making myself very clear and telling you the basics and relating it with your practical life so that you never forget. See, we are discussing this. This is very important because this is all the logics that we'll be using in the further classes, the session which will continue. This is the base. You need to revise this before digging in directly to the class. Okay. Now moving on, name of an angle. So how do we name an angle? See, to name an angle, we have any one point of a ray, then we have a vertex and a point on the other rays. So what happens is we label the two rays and we label the vertex, the point of intersection. And whenever we are labeling an angle, the center number, the middle one, so they are used with 3 alphabets, 3 things that we are naming. So first, the outside and the extreme one has to be the name of the ray or the points on the ray. But the center one always tells us where the point is, where the vertex is, where the point of intersection or the angle which we are talking about is. Okay. So in that case, see, if I say angle AOB, so O is an angle that comes from its name. So I'll directly know, okay, we are talking about angle number O, angle named with O. Okay, now naming them is by 2 ways. We can start from angle AOB or I can say BOA. In both the ways are right, but the center point, the O, only tells us exactly which one am I talking about, this vertex. But A and B help us to know which position am I talking about. Okay, I'll tell you how. See, I'll make one more ray. Okay, let me name this ray as C. Okay. Now, if I have to talk about this angle, so what will I use? Yeah, tell me. What will I give the name? I'll give the name as angle A and C. That is the name of the rays, right? and this is the angle at vertex O. So that's why I'm writing O in the center. Same with this, I can say angle COA. Now see, in this case, if I would have written simple O, then you would have got confused. Am I talking of this angle or am I talking of this angle? So by naming using three things and telling those arms, I'm able to know exactly which angle am I talking about. Am I talking about this angle, which is colored black, or am I talking about the colored white angle? So this is why we use three names, two names of the arms or the vertex or the point on the arms that help us. Okay. And the vertex or the point of intersection or the point where the angle has been formed. That has to be the center point. Clear with this one? Yeah. Okay. Yes, guys, now you have to tell me which of these angles do you see in the picture? Okay. Which is this angle? Let's see who gives me this answer. Now it's your time. Let's see the whole whatever I have delivered today, you have understood or not. Okay. Which angle is it? Which angle is formed here? See, it's big. Is it cute? No, cutes are always small, so it cannot be a cute. Is it L-shaped? No, so it's not a perpendicular, right? It is bigger one, so it's comparatively bigger. So what do we call it? Obtuse angle, matured one, right? Good. Let's see this one. What happens here? So here, what is this angle being formed? This is a small angle. It's less than an L, right? So it is an acute angle. Same here. Let's see what happens in this one. So it happens at an acute angle, right? Good. Very good. Well done. Moving on to collinear and non-collinear points. Collinear points lie in the straight line. So any points that always colline because we say they're connected in a straight line. So when a straight line is formed and I make 3, 4, 5, 6 points, they all are passing from that single line, the straight line that we are calling. That's why we call it collinear. The linear line comes from this, okay? Collinear. So all of them are in a same line. Then we call it a collinear points. So they lie on the same line, and as we know, they connect and have with a straight line. So when I pass a straight line from these points, and one line can pass from all the points, so that's why we call it collinear. But what will be non-collinear? Just opposite, right? If I make 3 points on here and there, any direction. So if I'm making P, Q, R, somewhere like this. And if I have to draw just one line, remember the points do not lie in the same line because I have to just draw one line. Let's try. Why are not they coming? Okay, let's me try this. I'm able to go there. But when I go there, I'm changing the direction. Okay, let me try this. I'm covering P and R, but I'm not able to cover the Q point. In this case, these two lines are not coming in any form. Even if I start from Q, I'm not able to get them in the straight line. Or even if I start from R, I'll go towards Q or I'll go towards P. In any form, I'm not able to get them in the same line. That's why we call it non-collinear points. Clear with this one? Okay, so let's just revise quickly. These are the questions for you. Let's see, are you able to give me the answers or not? Okay, everyone, buck up. Be ready, okay? All right, the first question says, name the angles whose measure is 360 degree. 360 degree angle. So what do we call it? Quickly? Yeah. What do we call this? We call it a complete angle. Well done, students. Okay, I'm reading your answers in the chat box. Quickly do that. Moving on to the second question. The angles which is greater than 90 degree but less than 180 degree is known as? Yeah. Give it quickly. The angle which is greater than 90 degree, which is greater than L, but is less than the straight line. What do we call it? We call it little matured one, right? Obtuse angle. Good. The angle which is greater than 180 degree, but less than 360 degree. So it's greater than the straight line. It is coming down. It's like a something at the back coming down, but it's less than 360 degree. We call it a reflex angle. Well done. Good. Now name the different parts of an angle. So different parts of the angles are, what are the different parts? They are the two arms, right? And what is a point of intersection called? What do we call a point of intersection? Yes, what do we call a point of intersection? Vertex. Well done. Great. When the points lie in the same line, they are called? When they're different points, not one point, 3, 4 points that lie in a straight line, same line. What do we call them? Quickly. Yeah, I'm waiting for your answer. Quickly. Perfect. Collinear points. Well done, students. Great. So we have complete obtuse. Yes, well done. You have done all the answers. Great. So what all have we done today? We have learned what are lines, what are parallel lines, what are intersecting lines, what is a line segment, what is a ray, what are the different types of angles, right? And what are the things used? How do we name an angle? Where does an angle lie? Interior angle or an exterior angle? What are collinear points? What are non-collinear points? So these were the base. Now taking my words carefully, just listen to me. See, this is a base. I have taught this all the things, revise what all you have done so far, so that in the further classes you don't have any other problem. So when we move ahead with this topic, exactly knowing how to use these lines, these points, these bases are important. So we will not come back again and again to these topics. So we have done it. Just go through this one before my next session. Okay, thank you so much everyone here. Hope to see you again in the session number 2. And if you think that this was good, you have learned something new with us, so kindly subscribe to the YouTube session and press on the bell icon so that you don't miss next update. Session 2, session 3, right? You want to learn the whole chapter with me. Great. Yes. Yeah, thumbs up. Good. And one more thing. See, Swiflearn is offering a free trial class. If you think that, yes, what we are doing here is good, if we are teaching you right here, when you're not there, suppose you're watching this video later, then your questions, your doubt are not able to solve on this chart, right? Because I'm not there to teach you. But whereas when you join our sessions on the Swiflearn, you are there connecting to us live. So we are able to connect each other on daily basis or whenever alternative days. It's up to you which schedule you want, which time you want. So we arrange according to the child's convenience, right? And in that, you are able to ask all your doubts and we are there to solve it. We are able to give you lecture in a more better and an interactive way. Okay, hope you understand and just try the trial class. It's free of cost. We are not charging anything. Okay, good. Let's see who all are there with us in the trial sessions and join us Swiflearn. If not a problem. Just give it a try. It's free of cost. Why not try it? Okay, and don't forget to subscribe and press on the bell icon so that you don't miss this second session of this. Okay, hope to see you again in the next session. Take care till then. Bye-bye. Have fun and be safe. Okay.